I would like to invite our next distinguished panelist to have a discussion over going local, why OTT needs to grow deeper roots. Now, players have now understood that catering to the consumer base in tier 2 and tier 3 cities of India is critical, as these segments have different behaviors of users as we compare it to the metropolitans in India, right? So therefore, OTT platforms will have to focus significantly on building regional and youth-oriented content library that will appeal to the local flavor. To chat more on this, we have a panel of distinguished experts, starting from Mr. Abhishek Jain, co-founder Oho Gujarati. Please welcome. Mr. Ajit Thakur is with us, Chief Executive Officer, AHA. I would like to welcome Ms. Soumya Vilkar, co-founder and Chief Financial Officer, Planet Marathi. I would like to welcome one more panelist, who is Mr. Satyajit Devakaran Nair, General Manager, Digital MMTV. Mr. Vishnu Mohta is also with us, co-founder, Hoichoi TV. And I would like to welcome Mr. Rabindra Narayan, Managing Director and President, PTC Network. And last but not the least, we have with us Ms. Mrinal Jha, founder of Mrinal Abhigyan Jha Production, who will be conducting this interesting chit-chat. The stage is all yours, Mrinal. You can please continue.
I guess I Vijaya here. I think Mrinal is on her way. So, yeah. Good to see you all.
It's a nice effort. We must congratulate you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. So Vishnu sir, congratulations on 5 years completion.
Thank you so much.
There's lots happening. So I have a special affinity. I'm a Bong myself, and I know the kind of work that you're doing in the East. I think it's wonderful, and we have access to that content now. So many interesting things that you're doing. Can you share with me some of the things that you're doing in that market?
So, a host of things across content distribution technology, focusing on the content per se. As you just mentioned, we had a host of announcements around the content piece, where we recently talked about the next 20 original shows that we release on our platform. There's a little bit of an echo, sorry. It's only me. Okay. So, and that's across all the originals that we're doing. At the same time, gladly movies are starting to release in theaters as we speak. And over the last year or so, I think there's been a big shortage of movies. I mean, we would have loved to release a lot more movies than we've been able to. So I think that's another big plus from this Pujo onward, which is starting from next week. I think there should be a steady flow of movies that release on OTT just after theaters in a lot of cases. So just looking forward to a great year. Yeah. I mean, I think in a lot of ways the ecosystem has matured. The partnerships are, quite a few partnerships on the way. We released one with Prime, Amazon Prime channels. There's one with Airtel Extreme that just came on. There are a few others in the works. So I think as an evolution in the ecosystem, I think we're finally reaching some critical mass, I guess.
Okay. Ravindra sir, what's your efforts in the Punjabi space? If you can tell me a little bit on that.
Oh, see, it's a very, very interesting experience for us. For almost more than a decade, we've been doing 6 linear television channels. And 2 years ago, we launched our OTT, PTC Play, which is the only OTT in Punjabi space. There are 2 more players who've joined in, but they're only movie-based. So we have a lot more to offer. And plus, we are the only Indian company which has studios in USA and Canada. So a lot of content gets produced in those countries, targeted at those markets only. So, and we are again the only company in the world which is doing virtual reality also. So every day from the Golden Temple, we do telecast live of Gurbani from the Golden Temple in 360-degree virtual reality. All our big ticket shows, film awards, music awards, Voice of Punjab are also available in 3D virtual reality. And this year we're launching a fiction series in virtual reality. So this will be a very, very unique and new experience for the Indian audience per se. And there's a lot we pack into our OTT. The battle is constantly between the linear channels and the OTT for the content. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be ahead? The bread and butter for all television channels is still the linear TV channels. But yes, OTT is slowly but steadily climbing up and catching up. So there's a lot happening. We're releasing original Punjabi songs. We are again the only company in the world which produces and releases an original 1 hour feature film every week. Every Friday, we release a new feature film. Nobody in the world is doing that. So we keep doing a lot of new initiatives. We keep experimenting with technology. We keep experimenting with shows, formats. There's a lot happening. And for example, during the recent Modi visit, we were the only channel reporting from inside the White House, because PTC is the only accredited Indian TV channel inside the White House. We are the only Indian accredited channel inside the Canadian Parliament. So whenever the Baisakhi celebrations happen in Canada at Capitol Hill, we're the guys doing it live. The Sikh Day Parade from USA, we do it live. So a lot of things. Every day we're reporting live from the White House. And people joke that Punjabis and potatoes are found all over the world. So that's what we try to do. We have 23 reporters in 19 different cities across the world reporting live. And that's how we got several awards this year for reporting on ground about pandemic from different countries around the world, including Rome, Belgium, New Zealand, Australia, you name the place. Wherever there are Indians or Punjabis, we have a reporter and it's been reporting live. So that's a remarkable achievement for a small regional player like us. We're not, the mainline channels are not doing such initiatives, or they do one-off. If some global leader is visiting, they'll report live. On a day-to-day basis, they're not reporting about the NRIs. They're not reporting about those countries. They're not covering happenings around there, but we are. So slowly and slowly, as I said, the local for us is also very, very local, as well as very, very globally local. In Canada, we have different beams going to the Toronto side and to the Vancouver side. Similarly, in USA, the beam for New York and for California, totally different beams. Europe, we are free to air, and all over Europe we're there. Similarly, in Australia, UAE. So all those beams are customized with local content. Unlike every other platform or channel which is producing content in India and then just retelecasting or rebeaming. So that's a new thing that we've started. Hopefully, others will also catch up doing that.
Okay. Satyajit, what are your efforts for the Indian as well as for the diaspora?
So I represent Malayalam Manorama. I'm part of MMTV. We have an OTT platform called Manorama Max, which was launched in September 2019. We're just 2 years young, and we have branched off from the mainstream television channels as a way to reach the end audience. Having said that, OTT is not being considered as a very separate platform here. It is considered as an extension of bringing in all the fresh content like web series, etc., which are viewed better by our audience today. So while the elderly segment is moving on with television, the younger segment is coming on to the OTT platform, and that is the way we are looking at engaging with them as well. If you speak about what we are doing extra, it is about creating a lot of shows which are more in tune with the younger audience, and we're also reaching out to the global audience via subtitles and stuff like that. So Malayalam is not restricted to Kerala alone. It is content to anybody across the globe who is interested in the kind of content that we produce. And these productions are not just limited to in-house content. It is also a lot of production coming in from external production houses, and we put out that content to the end user. That is the scene as of today. We have been adding a lot of new forms of content, new genres of content, and that is being lapped up by the audience in Kerala and the diaspora across the world, which is not just the Malayali audience, it is also non-Malayali audience who's interested in this kind of content.
Ajit, over to you. What are your efforts? Mrinal, I was just filling in for you.
Yeah, I know.
Ajit, I would love to hear what are your efforts.
Yeah, thank you.
And good to see you. So you're silent. You're mute.
Sorry. Hi Vijaya, hi Mridal. How are you guys doing?
Sorry, I had some tech issue, but then, I mean, that seems to be the flavor of the season with Zuckerberg also facing similar stuff.
Absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
problem. I thought you were finishing one more script, so it's fine.
Yeah, that too. All right.
So
I move on.
firstly,
The panel is
Yeah.
all yours. Yeah, I move on.
So firstly, thank you for the opportunity. And I always start all the panels by firstly thanking Vishnu and Hoichoi for leading the way for all of us. Vishnu, everything that we know and everything we've done, we couldn't have started without you guys. So thank you for setting the pace, and what a fabulous journey. Congratulations on season 5. And on AHA, we are not even 2 years old yet. We set up the company in April 2019. We launched in Feb 2020. And to be honest, guys, we had no clue what a roller coaster it will be. We knew that the young India watches a lot of video content on mobile and now on TV. But every number we had set, every benchmark we had about how much they watch and will they pay for it, all of that has completely gone for a toss in a good way. We are looking at 2x, 3x numbers in terms of organic subscribers without any bundling. And I think we need to acknowledge that a lot of us, at least I thought that young India will hesitate to pay, and because we priced ourselves at what the national apps were for just one language, and when we started out with limited content, but they have come in big numbers, and we're looking at a retention rate of 70 to 80%. And I think that is the power of entertainment in this part of the country. We have learned a lot, but I think to summarize the 2 to 3 things that have been a big part of this journey, the first and foremost, and that's kind of the theme of this panel, I think the 100% local as a pitch, and to have an app which only has Telugu content. And as we extend, we are looking at doing the same for other languages, has been the single biggest factor for this success. I believe they'll always continue to have some of the international apps and watch their Hollywood and Hindi content. And along with that, this was the local destination for entertainment in the format, in the form that they wanted. The second thing has been deep marketing. I think the audience of OTT is shifting rapidly from tier 1 to tier 2, tier 3 to rural as telcos in the country keep expanding. And I think we've seen joy now. Some of our big shows, we market in about 100 towns. We started with 30. We never started with saying we'll only market in Hyderabad. So that's been a good big learning curve for us. And the third one, I think Ravindraji touched on that. I think this is primarily a habit viewer migrating from television. And one of the big things that we have seen is, while we've not given them an original film every week, sir, but we managed to give them one new piece of content every Friday. And that has been one of the big driving factors of building the habit that you were talking about. And I think those are the 3 highlights, Mridal, and I think it's fascinating. I still think we don't know enough about them, but we know that when you give them good content, you build a habit and you reach out to them where they are. This is a medium that is set for exponential growth, and in SVOD itself, AVOD is not the only answer.
Right. Okay, so I mean, talking of like digging deeper roots, I was wondering about could we dig into what is our existing literature? And I wanted to hear thoughts from all of you. We've got great popular literature in all languages, especially, I mean, Bengali, of course, we all know, and the southern states have great literature, which people have consumed over so many decades. Right. So how much are you all depending on the local literature to create content out of it? And I mean, like Ajit, you were in Sony, and Tarak Mehta, I'm sure, was, one of the biggest shows even back then, right? And it continues to lead in the numbers. So how much of local literature are you all looking at when you're creating content on your platforms?
Mridal, just one quick one. I think all of us have had a chance to introduce ourselves except Soumya.
Right.
So
Okay.
maybe we should give Soumya a chance to talk, and then we'll come back to literature.
Yes. Soumya, please go ahead.
So thanks, Ajit, and thanks everyone to give us an opportunity. Of course, after hearing everyone, and we all know, we are the youngest or the newborn baby out of the OTT kitty. So we just launched last month, which is on 30th of August. with our S-Word. Earlier, we just had a beta testing a month ago in June month with a movie called June with the T-Word, which was, I think, the first one, the first trial that we had in Marathi. We being the first of OTT platforms that has been launched in India or in world as Marathi OTT platform. Uh, Although Marathi had a very legacy, high and good legacy of literature, content, poetry, theater, plays, everything. Still, what lacked was a platform which needed to bring everything onto one place, which could be one-stop destination for everything. So last year in pandemic, when we thought of like from film production, because everybody has a background of, I think, television channel like Manorama and the PTC, they have a television network and then they moved on to OTT. But we had a background of film production. We started with films, and then in middle of the pandemic, when we saw that we had 3 to 4 movies which were not able to get released, and like us there were around 100 or 150 movies of Marathi which had no other clue wherein to go. So that was the place wherein we had thought that this is the right time to launch up the OTT platform, wherein we can get all the Marathi content onto one platform and then move ahead with the theaters, with the multiplexes, and also with the OTT going hand in hand, so that the content gets its deserved place to reach to the global audience. So that is where we launched last month. We are very new to all this and almost like learning from everyone, from Hoichoi to AHA to everyone. I know that everybody has tested the waters from A-Word to S-Word and might be T-Word. We started with T-Word. We are now doing S-Word, and we would be also going with A-Word. It is all about the audience, what it wants. So audience wants a kind of entertainment, whether the gender, age doesn't matter, because nowadays the 60s are the old 50s. So whatever 50-year-old used to watch, now a 60 or a 70-year now watches, right? And everybody, even a granny, is also very net savvy, and they know how to use the OTTs and the YouTubes and all. So I think the audience has shifted, the taste has shifted, the entertainment has shifted. So we all have to evolve and take everyone, the regional one especially, to go global, because Hindi, English we already have. Even though Marathi is the third most spoken language in the Indian language in world, and 10th it stands in the world. Still there are all the languages where we can like use our literature, use our local content, use our regional content, which can reach and correlate to all the audiences across the world. That is what I want to speak.
Vishnu, you want to take the question?
Sorry, Vishnu.
On literature and...
Right, yeah. So I think, as far as Hoichoi, or in fact SV at the parent company is concerned, we've been lucky to have been gifted a legacy of great literature over 100 years of Bengali writers over a period of time, and I think we continue to delve into that. There's still great interest when a show like that or a movie like that, which is something that people would have read when they were growing up, or they continue to read, is made on either as a film or as an original show. We made Bomkesh, we made something called Lekin Babu. We're making some show on the biggest detective of Bengal called Feruda. They're very well-known names, and in addition to that, continuing today, I think a lot of the writers in India continue to be from continue to be Bengali for that matter, in the general sense. And I think that always ensures that there is a great leadership, great body of work that continues to get created, and that's one of the key ways for us to look at the kind of content that we want to continue to make.
Right. Would you say that some of your biggest successes have been the serials or shows that have come from literature?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest movie, starting with the biggest movie that we've ever made is a film called Chade Paar. It was in 2012. It was an adventure film. It was made from a book that people had read growing up. As far as specifically Hoichoi is concerned, again, Bomkesh, Lekin Babu are very big shows. Even off late, so there's a book written by a guy called Arnav Ray. It's called Mahabharata Murders, the show that we are going to make in the coming year. That's written by Arnav Ray, but it is not written in Bengali, it's written in English. But it's still nuanced in a way that we'll be able to adapt to our audience, I guess.
Right.
So that continues to be the case, and there are always big takers. You don't have to market it as much, I guess.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Abhishek, you want to add to that?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be part of this panel. I have already picked out my pen and my notepad because more than a speaker, I feel I'm a seeker here today. We are just 4-month-old OTT platform. And as Soumya also mentioned, we started as a production house. And somewhere we found that our voices or our stories are not finding the right place or the right time. And that's when we plunged into the technology business, if I may say. And obviously, all these panelists and their channels have been our part of research and study, beginning with Hoichoi or AHA or PTC. So we are looking forward to give a great amount of content. Coming back to your question about literature, yes, definitely Gujarati literature is quite rich, and a lot of it has not yet been explored. We intend to get into that, but the disparity is the fact that all this literature that we are talking about are classics. And if we have to talk about the contemporary literature, there is not much to really see in the open forum. And because of that, when we go back to the classics, it has got its own certain amount of production value and all of it attached to it, which for a very new company or a new startup, it's a little difficult for us, but we aspire to do that. In fact, our launch show, which was Vittal Tidi, was adapted from a short story, and it was a contemporary literature, but we only know how much time it took us to really come forward to something like that and then explore. So we look forward to that. People in Gujarat are quite attuned to reading, but yes, as I mentioned, that these are classics that we're talking about. We need to really find new contemporary work here.
Correct.
Thank you.
Right. So actually, coming from the same question, if we have to look at the other end, that today, tier 2, tier 3 cities, they're pretty aspirational, and it's become a level ground, right? With the onset of technology available to everyone. So are we saying then that maybe there needs to be a mix of the kind of content which is more aspirational, like you mentioned, Abhishek, that you can't go too classic in the kind of things that you pick up from literature, but do a mix? Or are we saying that let's just focus on what the audience wants today, which is more contemporary, more aspirational? A lot of our audiences are coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities, smaller towns. They would want to watch stuff that is more modern, perhaps. So what are your thoughts on that?
My view as a filmmaker since last 10 years, 12 years of my journey have been that when it comes to regional content, enough of being very aspirational and modern, these tier 2 and tier 3 cities really want to see the content coming from their own place, their own heartland,
Right.
So it is very surprising when we made this launch show, and the shows that have followed up, they are coming from the heartland. We have shot something in the rural setup, and these stories are depicting those areas, and people have lapped that up. In fact, with Gujarat, the issue or the problem, rather the challenge, is that this community has always been so aspirational and so forthcoming, and they have got this, prosperity to spend over Hindi or English films or other language films, that they don't no longer want to see that. For that, they already have got their avenues to watch, but they want to really see something which is regional, which is local, which talks about them and talks in their language. So I think that's where we are trying to hit the market or the target, and hopefully the right mix of bringing the right kind of literature and today's story from that heartland would make a good deal.
Mrinal, to add to that, very strongly agree with Abhishek on this one. I believe that, in fact, not only in regional, but on this medium, even in national and international, the medium demands a lot more personalization of content, which is not the case with cinema, right? You've got to fill a theater with a certain kind of cinema, and that cinema will continue to exist.
Right.
I think what OTT has done is created a whole generation of viewers who are looking forward to much more realistic, relatable content. And one big aspect of that is content that is rooted, that Abhishek was talking about. And I believe that the more rooted the story is, the more it travels. And that's not true just for local, but across the world. And that is one thing that OTT is allowed. us to do. So for instance, there's nothing like one Telugu local story. Looking at how Rayalaseema is different from coastal Andhra and how that's different from the Telangana belt and how that's different from the Godavari districts. And I'm sure it's the same in Gujarat. So I think it's going the other way. So what we called earlier the aspirational, I want to live that life of that hero on screen. I think OTT is taking content in just the other direction. I'm not saying reverse, but much more rooted, much more grounded, a lot more local.
Okay. All right. Would you agree with that, Satyajit? Sorry, you were saying something, Soumya.
Yeah, so what Ajit said, I completely agree to it. The only thing is that people have aspirations, but they want the stories in their local language and their local stories. So the local stories which have more inspirational, more motivational, because that is the flavor of it. Whatever we show to the audience, it should be motivational and inspirational, irrespective of any language. Those are the local stories. I mean, the people who have struggled and reached over to some place, that is a story wherein a local would like to, or a regional person would like to see and hear about it, rather than going something which is like somebody over sitting in US has a struggle and reached over to some place that doesn't correlate to their lifestyle, to their thought process. So the regional platforms have a long way to go to bring in the flavor of the local audience.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Satyajit?
Yeah, so what I too feel is that the content is getting very real on OTT. So it is not about bringing content back from literature or creating heroes out here. It is about very real people, real situations around, and what can be seen around us. And that is true in every aspect. It's not just in tier 1, tier 2 towns or tier 3 towns. Every place has its own energy, and every place has its own what would you call it, the charm. So that needs to come out in every story, and only when that comes out are people engaging with the new forms of content that are becoming popular on OTT. So I do feel that this needs to be focused on to bring out the non-apologetic nature of the people out there who are not aspirational but are just themselves. If that can come out in the stories, it becomes much more powerful.
Okay. Rabindraji, what would you say to it? I mean, I understand that, people obviously connect and relate more to things that are around them, which are from their own culture. But there's also another side to it. I mean, entertainment is escapism also in certain ways, and you want to travel to places which you have not experienced but would want to probably someday. So what has your experience been when you've been creating content for your platform?
What we saw is the escapism is being provided by the English platforms, the fantasy series, science fictions, and all that. There were experiments in Hindi also. They didn't work that much. What the local audience is looking at is they are not looking for out of this world heroes. They're looking at characters which look like them, behave like them, talk like them, are like them. They want them to succeed. They want their stories. Like I told you, we're producing a movie every week. The themes which we discovered are working are which are contemporary, which are localized, which talk about issues and happenings around them, stories which are related to them, the immigration issue, the local violence, the degradation of politics, or all of that which is happening around them is getting you far more traction on local OTT platforms as opposed to the English or the Hindi ones. So that's very, very particular. For my Canada beam, 30% of the content I produce in Canada, because if I push them the Punjab, which is in India, it's still not that important for them. For them, it's what's happening to the students who go there, live in dormitories, how they're exploited, what are the opportunities there, what are the aspirations, those who made it big, how they made it big, the stories, conflicts, the crime which is happening there. That is more relatable to them. So we have done geo blocking also. The beam for my channels which goes to those countries is the beam which is customized for that country. We're going that close to them. every news bulletin that is produced there, the four bulletins in a day relate to that country, their people, news about them. The series, the fiction, the talent shows that we do. Now we're doing a cookery show, Canada the Super Chef. So we're going to people's home with Super Chef Vikram Mehra and all those guys in Canada and shooting with local people there. And that gets massive traction instead of producing a cookery show in India and then relaying it there.
Right.
So
I
local
think
is the way to go.
topic goes what Ravinder sir is saying. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. When you are talking that we have aspirations to go abroad, or like if somebody who is sitting over here and then they have aspirations, they already see that in the Bollywood or the English movies.
Yeah.
But then there are topics which might be extending the boundaries of our thoughts, the conventional, not so conventional. If we have the topics which are not so conventional, but we show it in our regional content and the flavor, then it becomes more popular. Like we have one series which we started, which talks about polyamory. So Marathi has never been talked about this, but then it is a very contemporary series. I mean, it talks about two very normal people who are sitting over there. I mean, these are the thoughts which the youngsters might be having or anybody else is having, and that are the aspirations or might be the kind of contemplation they want to do. So you need not show anything which is happening over somewhere outside. It can be very localized. The thoughts can be non-conventional.
Right.
That is what I feel.
Okay, so just Ajit playing the devil's advocate here. We saw what on Netflix, and I think everyone talks about it these days, that there was this whole slew of so-called dark shows and thriller and all of those kind of shows that happened, and I think somewhere they've kind of revised maybe their policy as well and are looking at broadening the structure, right? So similarly, do you think that when we talk about regional OTTs platforms, are we in danger of focusing too much on just being relatable and going local and making it really identifiable to the population and ignoring the other possibilities? Like I think what Soumya mentioned, a show about polyandry. Like, there are subjects which would be very, very interesting for even a local audience, right? And people, because of their reach, and today, because news travels everywhere, so they know, they're aware, the awareness is there. So they would want to have stories which kind of may carry the local flavor, but still have a global appeal, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Are we looking at that as content creators?
Yeah, and also basically we live in a multi-universe, right? So we're not living in isolation. And I think there are three types of players who are going to coexist for some time till consolidation happens. There are the international standalone OTT platforms. There are the broadcaster catch-up TV driven international platforms with significantly more budgets than us. And then there are the local platforms. So I don't think those stories will go away, right? But some of those stories are being catered to by cinema, and some of the big platforms with the multi-billion-dollar budgets that they have, they will continue to create. And I think at some level that those budgets will give the scale to it against which if we pick up those stories, we will not be able to match up. So part of it is driven by competitive USPs, right? So I believe that for us to find these local stories and local space which others are not telling is a great way to get started. But as we talk, we've set up a studio in Mumbai for AHA, where we are targeting and speaking to top showrunners to see if we can make a pan-India show of the like that you're talking about, in the genres that you're talking about. And then we will figure out a way to partner with a national OTT platform to give the Hindi to them and keep the languages with us. Right. So we'll do that. But I think the space to tell local stories that connect and which are aspirational, relatable, and inspirational and aspirational. There is so many stories out there, starting with literature that you started talking about, right? That I think we have a good 2 to 3 years to tap into that. And yes, whoever reinvents before the others is the one who will get the next share of the market. But for now, there's enough for everybody to dip into. And as long as we're finding our local space, and it's not a niche space, it's a very big space, the local storytelling. So I think it's about just a matter of who does what. And if there's enough for everybody, then we'll coexist for some time.
Right. Vishnu, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a general tendency with creators that just the preceding hit or super hit becomes the benchmark for the next set of things that you want to do. And I think that's a trap that everyone has to be careful about. If you continue to do just the thing that you've already done, I think OTT is probably not the best place for that. Maybe it works in a lot of other platforms, but given the amount of content choices across languages, across various categories that any consumer, regardless of language in India today has, the challenge continues to remain: how do you continue to reinvent yourself and continue to push the boundaries of what you've done in the past, irrespective of success or failure. And this is the exact medium for experimentation, which doesn't have a lot of the holdbacks or the caveats that existed in some other mediums. In the case of films, maybe it is too expensive to experiment on an idea. In the case of television, maybe there is the interaction between a broadcaster and a creator, which also creates a filter mechanism in the first place. I think in the case of OTT, there's a little bit more liberation from all of that. And I think because you're able to, being a digital space, you're able to experiment at lesser costs as compared to some of the others. And I think you're rewarded as a result by the audience also for the effort you put into experiment.
Right. Okay, moving on to another subject. Actually, Ravindraji, this question is for you because Punjabi is the language that you deal in. So we've all seen the predominance of Punjabi, the usage of the language in Hindi cinema, for example, or even if Hindi GC channels, a lot of the families are Punjabi. So there's a lot of Punjabi cultural influence around. And so how do you see that translating now on OTT? How would you take that? Are you going to only focus on the Punjabi language, or use that language to depict a wider scape?
See, for us, fortunately, the audience is not just India.
Right.
A large chunk of it comes to us from Canada, USA, Australia, and Pakistan. So Punjabi, yes, will remain predominantly the language that we produce in, talk in, and work in. The constant issue that we keep facing is that the Punjabi audience is also the main audience for Hindi. So the kind of generalized themes, generalized typecast characters Hindi is creating about Punjabis. If there is a Sikh, he'll be a comedian or will be a frivolous sort of a character. No, that's not so. So we constantly fight with those perception battles and constantly create characters, stories which depict the real Punjab. Anything that you can see on an English or a Hindi platform, we will not be producing it. Any story which you can generalize in Hindi also, it could have been in Hindi also, we don't produce it. Be it a talent show, be it a film awards, be it fiction, be it religious shows, whatever we produce will be deep rooted into the heritage, sensibilities, as well as the contemporary life of an everyday Punjabi, wherever they are. If they're in Canada, it'll be relevant to them. They're in US, it'll be relevant to them. The Canadian audience of Punjabi is very different from the US audience. That's very different from the Australian or for the European audience. They're very, very different Punjabis. Their aspirations, lifestyles, the language, their get-up, everything is different. So unless you are taking up their issues, their talks, those characters, their aspirations, their achievements, it's never going to work for us, because we will be unnecessarily competing with Hindi. They have big pockets, big budgets, lavish sets, huge production values. So if I try and ape them, produce shows which are being produced by them, I'll never be successful, because they will say, oh, Hindi guys did this, and they're trying to copy at a lesser budget. It's never going to work out. So I have to stick to what I specialize in. my artist, my language, my people, my settings, my town, my villages, my people.
Right. Okay. What about the others? Are you all looking at using the language that you're operating in, and also all of that culture that comes with it, to influence, say, or to use it in other markets? Or is that going to be seen as cultural appropriation?
So, Mrinal, we are an exclusive Marathi platform. Like Planet Marathi started with an exclusive Marathi. All the content would be in Marathi. But
Right.
obviously, we will never stop in ourselves tomorrow if we want to syndicate the content or remake the content, because content has no language as such. That is a emotion, or that is a thought that we are going to give it to the audience. If Marathi audience has accepted because the story is theirs, but the audience sitting in Punjab or in Gujarat or somewhere in US might relate to it because the story is very relatable to them. So it should connect to their chord. So if we talk about having an aspiration to build it in Hindi, that becomes a different aspect, because that is larger than life. To create a larger than life picture, which will be just like a fantasy, will not work. But if it is a local story which connects to emotion of everyone, we might try to go out, explore it, remake it, or might be tie up with some other platforms or production houses or anyone, because that story has to reach out to the audience. If today we are a production house, or we have been today we are a OTT platform, we want to reach out to larger audiences. So today we have watched Money Heist, we have watched Game of Thrones from different content that is also relatable in some aspect. Might be the culture isn't, but the thought is. So
Right.
similarly, we have a story which will be connected to other platforms. So if we have a story like Panchayat, which is like Hindi but still manageable and still like connected to everyone. So this kind of stories will work out in every region. Today we might have a story which is relatable in Karnataka, which is relatable in Tamil Nadu also. Or their story might be, because that is a story of a villager, or it's a story of a common man going out in the city, or working out for something, or having a kind of goal achieved through the kind of efforts, or anything. I mean, the story can be a biopic or anything. So we do not confine our limits. Obviously, we want to take our regional content outside. We want to create it over here and then spread out the fragrance of the same to the different parts of our world.
Okay, thank you. Vishnu, what would you say? I mean, Bengali content traditionally also has been popular in other markets, right? So is there a thought, a strategy behind maybe creating at least some of the content which can go into other markets and become popular?
Depends on whether you consider Bangladesh to be another market. The way we think about it is it's the same language, separated by nuances, culture, and little different backgrounds. We've been working towards that over the last couple of years, where we're making 3 to 5 shows a year in Bangladesh. We'd love to make more, but I think just the last year or so, year and a half, has been a little disruptive in terms of the COVID, etc. But that plus, I think, we've always been lucky to have been able to work with some partners to syndicate our dub content in other languages, and we've seen that travel reasonably well. Continue to work with the platform called MX there for the dub content. It's not that we set out to with that mindset, but I truly believe that if you create great content, it travels, I think, in this day and age, regardless of ethnicity, language, location, any other barriers that we can traditionally think about. I think you have to go about probably thinking, what is the right story that we want to see at this point in time, which is going to be relevant to whatever we've learned as a audience space, and more people, hoping that more people will join in on that, as opposed to just trying to say, you know what, I want to make a show which translates well in all the languages that I created on. We'll probably be trying to catch too many people. I mean, trying to do too many things with one piece.
It's like we have the subtitles and we almost see all the Bengali movies, or even what Hello and all we're doing. So we have been watching the Bengali movies since Satyajit Ray's. I mean, YouTube, you go on the channel, you have the subtitles and you want to watch it because that relates somewhere, that connects somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Satyajit, your thoughts on that? See, like Korean, I mean, Korean content and, Spanish content. This is stuff that is becoming really popular now, right? Like that people have in fact started learning Korean and Spanish, especially a lot of the youngsters. K-pop has become so popular with some of the teenagers. So that's how language spreads. Like I'm sure since y'all are thinking local, you would also want to have your language popularized around the world.
Very true. In fact, the movies in Malayalam today are reviewed the most by national reviewers like Anupama Chopra and all of that. Top three Malayalam movies are there in the top five. So that is the kind of popularity that the language itself has got. And I do not see Fahad Fasil doing a Hindi movie in a Hindi kind of character and becoming popular. I just see them doing themselves and being themselves in the stories that we say. And when I say we, I'm talking about Kerala and the Malayalam audience, and just being themselves, and that is being liked by most people around, and they're coming to watch the show. So I feel it is just by building up the same thing that I told the last time. It is just about building up the real situations and the real people in their real localities. It's only then that people actually connect to that particular story, and it doesn't matter what the language is. Then it's just a matter of translation or subtitles that we give. And if so, people do come and watch it. So it's about building that from all of us. I mean, right here and across India, of all the OTTs, building up content that they are strong in their region. And if that comes up, then awesome, because we'll be building up a global universe, like Mr. Rabindraji was saying. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think we're sort of short on time, but there is a question from the audience. I'd like to put that. It says, hello everyone, what's the biggest challenge you face in converting national audience to local or other regional audience?
So I think a regional audience is a national audience first. We are not converting the national audience to regional. I mean, if I want to eat something when I go out, it might be Chinese or something, but then every day I would like to have my own regional food at my home. So that is the answer to it. You have everything on the platter. You do not discriminate. I mean, it is my choice. I would be watching this today, and as well I would watch Hindi and English tomorrow.
And I think
that's my take.
Yeah. I think that this is also going to be a myth buster, that your national audience is going to be your regional audience. Actually, technically, they are, but then they are two different streams completely. People who want to consume the national and international content, they are consuming it anyway. But regional, in the beginning of our conversation, we all talked somewhere about giving a solution to a problem. That is one-stop solution for one language that you would want to consume all your content in. So considering that there is no such competition, or there is no such way of converting the national audience to the regional audience, creating a new audience base for your own regional language is what we should all probably, or we are all trying to focus on. And then eventually when you become big enough, like a Hoi Choi, and people like us who, I'm coming from Gujarat, I know Hindi and Gujarati, having understood Bengali because of our influences as filmmaker from Satyajit Ray or Bimal Roy, we would want to go and watch Hoi Choi again and again, in spite of the fact that we don't know, it's not our primary language. But that is like the cream that would eventually happen. But focusing completely on our own regional language or the regional audience is where the core is.
So I think the challenge is not to convert the audiences. The challenge is how to retain the audience owing to the challenge thrown to you by piracy. Every content is being pirated and being offered free of cost to people in the same quality that you are offering it at. That's the biggest challenge right now. Globally, we are facing the challenges more in US and Canada, where the laws are not so strict. The challenge is much more there, how to prevent yourself from pirates who are offering your imagine you're producing a Game of Thrones, and that becomes the most pirated show in the world, and you still make money because you have Game of Thrones. In India, you produce something in Punjabi, Marathi, Gujarati at a high cost, and the pirates spread it everywhere. You won't even recover the cost. That's the biggest challenge we're facing today, piracy.
Bijoy, do we have space for one more question? Oh, not sure. Okay. Since we don't
Nobody
have
is interrupting, we can go on.
Yes, yeah. So there's one more question from the audience. What are the challenges you're facing for monetization of OTT platforms?
I think Ravindraji just answered that question.
Yes.
Piracy is one, and second,
Piracy is one.
the habit in Indians to get everything for free. How can I get it for free? Why should I pay 400 rupees or 500 rupees a year? I mean, I can go out and spend more than that on my commute from one place to the other in diesel, but I don't want to pay for entertainment, authentic, genuine entertainment made for me by paying for it. I mean, if you see the, especially in Punjabi or the northern belt, it's not so in Marathi or Tamil or Telugu. With the theater, people still buy tickets and go and see plays. Out here, you come to Delhi, everybody is looking for passes. Do you have passes to the show? You get the biggest of the stars. You get whosoever you name, Eminem and this and that, and people will be asking, "Pass hai kya? Do you have a pass?" So
and actually,
the challenge is to make people pay.
Pay.
And also, piracy is no more considered as a crime. I don't know whether it was ever considered as a crime. It's a thrill. It earns you a social currency. तुझे चाहिए मैं देता हूँ मेरे लैपटॉप पे ये ले पेन ड्राइव
Oh yeah.
मैं तुझे वी ट्रांसफर करता हूँ. So it's a thrill, and that is what is making a big dent. I'm sure, sir. Passes wala culture, to yeah, it's I think prevalent everywhere, and the loyalty towards language is what is a big hindrance or big challenge.
I think it should be a kind of habit made to an audience, so that if our audience or a customer first gets into, a viewer first comes and then gets into a habit of paying, I mean, he just has to pay. I mean, it has to be a habit of his life. Like today, we know that, okay, this is what we are going to spend in for our clothes, for our food, or we have to go out for the whatever kind of entertainment we have. This has to be a part of their life, and then it comes naturally to them, so that they don't feel that they are having a kind of loss in their pockets and watching something which is like not affordable, or which is not to the mark or value for money what they have paid for. So that has to become a part of their life and become a habit of paying, that, okay, we are not being charged for this much. We are charging only 1 rupee per day. Like, I mean, you cannot charge anything less than that. So.
True. Namita, do we have space? I can't hear you.
Mute.
Namita, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
I can't hear you.
So this is the magic of virtual conversation that we all are having. So thank you all for sharing your bit of information and sharing your knowledge and insightful thoughts with us. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thanks,
Great
Mridula.
having you.
Thanks for joining. Thank you.
Out of our thank you, Mridula.